What's going on, everybody? It's your man Max the Shot here at Bodhi Tree Studios with a quick video tutorial on the basic mixing elements in Logic Studio. And what we're going to take a look at today are the drums. In my session here, you can see all the drums labeled and colored up here in yellow. Now, I find coloring and labeling to be one of the most important things, one of the most crucial steps to having a good workflow and an organized session. So that's one of the first things I do. You can open up your color palette if you hold Option C, just like this, and you can change your colors to whatever you want. I like to keep drums yellow. I've got electric piano here in green, bass in purple. So everything's nice and organized. It's easy to find, and I know exactly where I am. So we're going to take a look at first is the kick drum sound. Now in hip hop and R&B, urban music, dance music, house, the kick drum is the foundation. This is the backbone of the song. This is the loudest thing in the mix. It's what we're dancing to. This is providing the beat and the rhythm. This is what's hitting you in the chest at the nightclub. So it's really crucial to get a really solid, muscly kick drum sound. So this is my kick here on channel 6, and we're just going to take a look. Have a listen to this. Okay, not bad. So what I want to start with is EQ and compression today. EQ and compression are like the salt and pepper of mixing. This is what you're going to use on pretty much every single track, every channel strip in your signal flow. So what I like to do first is take away frequencies that we don't need. When we're mixing, our main goal is to have a position, have a place, and a purpose for every sound, and we don't want too many frequencies occupying the same range, or this is just going to give us too much volume, too many decibels, and lead to distortion, peaking, and things like that. So we want to keep everything balanced and make sure that everything is playing a role. So we take a look at our kick drum here and our EQ. This is what it looks like. You can see all of these frequencies bouncing around, and at the bottom here, this big bump, this is our fundamental frequency of the kick. It's around 60 to 100. So what I'm going to do is go around 60 and just give it a nice little boost there. Let's find that. You can even double click and just type it right in, and then give it a little boost like that. That's just going to give it a bit more muscle. Now as well, I'm going to take away some of these frequencies at the bottom because we want to leave space, like I mentioned before. This is where our bass line is going to be sitting down here between 20 and maybe 60. These frequencies down here, anything below 40, you don't really hear these. Most studio speakers won't even register these frequencies. It's only the big giant subs in nightclubs that are going to register these frequencies. That's when you're going to feel the floor and the walls shaking, and it's going to make your lungs pinch. Those really low frequencies, the subsonic frequencies. But this kick drum, we don't need any of that right now. We want this space here to be where our bass is going to sit. So that looks good like that. It's still got some body, but nothing unnecessary. Still got punch. And I'm also going to give it a little bit of a boost up at 4K. This is sort of the knock, that top of the top knock of the kick drum, that sort of, if it was a real kick drum, this would be like where the beater's hitting. So about 4K. Cool, that sounds good. And next is, if you open up your plugins, dynamics, and compressor, we're going to use the compressor next in our signal path. So what the compressor does is it reduces the dynamic range of our sound, of our signal. What this means is it's taking our loudest parts and it's going to bring them down, and our soft parts, it's going to make those louder. So it's basically evening out our signal, evening out our sound. what we're going to start with right here is the ratio. Now the ratio controls how much of our signal we're compressing. With a 4.1 to 1 ratio, that means that every 4 decibels entering the compressor, only 1 is leaving. The attack here, I like to think of this as like a window. With a all the way open, very open window like this, all of our sounds coming in. And a very quick 0 milliseconds or 1/2 millisecond like this. This is like a very closed window. It's going to grab, it's attacking our sound right away and processing it. So if we take a look here, we can see the activity up in the gain reduction at the top. So we want all of our sound to come in because we want to keep the body on that kick drum. The release is kind of the opposite. The release determines how long our compressor is holding on to the signal. So with the slow release, you'll be able to see this visually. See how it's dragging, it's sucking on. We don't want this. We want to be creating a dynamic, punchy kick drum that goes in and out, bouncing around. So we're going to have to turn that release down a little bit. We want this gain reduction to come all the way back before the next kick comes in, before the next transient, to create that punch. There we go. That looks good like that. And then our threshold over here, this is determining when our compressor is starting to work. So as you can see up here at 0 decibels, nothing's happening. It doesn't even register. But when we start bringing that down, you see some activity. It's registering the sound coming in. Great, that looks good to me. So we'll move on and we'll take a look at the clap here. I've already got a preset EQ going on. And again, I've taken away the bottom frequencies because as we can see here, if I solo this, the clap has all of this nonsense, this rumble just going on here. These are just frequencies that come with the sound, but you don't actually hear them. Now we could keep this if we were only using 4 or 5 tracks, but in a mix like this, when you're doing an entire song, you're going to have maybe 20 or 30 tracks, and if they've all got this low rumble down here, that's going to add up, that's going to build up to a point where you can hear it, and it's just going to muddy up our overall mix. So we want to just get rid of it. You can hear it's not changing the sound at all. But in the long run, it's going to have a big effect. So we're just going to get rid of those frequencies down there. And I've also boosted it up here just to give it a little bit more sparkle and some brightness. So if I turn this off, you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about. There's our clap without the EQ. And there it is with. So just brightening things up a little bit. And again, I got a compressor going on here. I've got a 2-to-1 ratio, so that's about 50%. Slow attack, I want all my signal coming in. And here I've got a slow release, a very quick release, pardon me. So it's just jumping in and out, giving it that snappy clap, in and out. Perfect. And hi-hats, same thing, same signal path. I've got EQ, taking away all those bottom frequencies, and I've just boosted it a little bit up at the top here, just to add a bit of brightness and some air. And the compressor on the hi-hat is a little bit different. I've put a very quick attack on this because the hi-hat's following a 16th note pattern and it's going very quickly. So we want to capture all of those transients. We want to grab all those really as fast as they're coming in. Solo that and take a look at our gain reduction. So that's reacting immediately to the sound coming in, keeping it nice and, there it is, yeah, nice and sharp. Cool, so there we have it. That's a quick look at the basic elements of mixing in Logic using EQ and compression. Please feel free to leave any questions or comments below and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for hanging out with me.